Mythic Plus. I think that can probably demonstrate better how I play Holy Paladin, the benefits and such. So this is, I think this is a Black Cold 8. And so let me, I mean, I guess kind of something you want to do before you heal a dungeon. You just quickly want to look over it, you know, think of hard parts of the dungeon, think of like things that you can, asking if it's a 8 Black Rook. It is a Black Rook Cold. So you want to, you know, you just quickly want to go over, okay, let me think. So on, okay, so it's a 7 Black Rook Cold. So this week is going to be, what are the fixes this week? So Teaming Necrotic. So my healer, or my tank, is going to be getting Necrotic, which is going to be really annoying. But anyways, so Black Rook Cold has this annoying boss, and basically what I'm trying to say is you want to look at, you know, you want to look at the fights you're going to be doing, and you're going to want to think, how best can I heal this? So I know on this fight, you know, he like goes to the center of the room, and then he sits there and channels, and he pulls adds to them, and if you don't kill the adds, it empowers the boss, and then he basically explodes. So I know for this dungeon I want to take Devotion Aura, because he's going to be, he could potentially one-shot people with this ability. And also this boss here, you know, he turns into like the demon or whatever, and then he does a Shadow Bolt volley on you, and that can possibly one-shot people if you don't have a cooldown and it's a high enough Mythic Plus. So I'm going to take Devotion Aura for this, and I'm going to run that as opposed to like Mercy or a Sacrifice. These talents are, these are just up for debate on what fights you're doing. All of these talents can be good. So what I'm actually gonna do is I'm gonna respec here as well. It's only a 7, so it's like midway. It's like kind of high, but it's not very high. So I'm gonna go full damage. I'm gonna go Crusader's Might, and I'm gonna go Holy Avenger and Sanctified Wrath. This is like the core for doing big damage. Sanctified Wrath, Holy Avenger, Crusader's Might. And then Rule of Law, Blinding Light. I'm gonna take Beacon of Faith on this. So let me zone in here. Man, long blue screen. Sorry, they're asking if I got the summon. I'm already inside. So I guess just real quick, I want to go over talents real quick while this dungeon's starting. This is like a DPS talent, and then if you have 4-piece tier of Nighthold, you're gonna probably want to take Crusader's Might, because you will gain an extra charge of Infusion of Light when you Holy Shock, and this talent basically just reduces the cooldown on Holy Shock. So you're going to be getting more infusions of light, etc. Although even if you do have 4-piece, these other ones can be good. You know, Light's Hammer, if it's a really raid healing intensive fight, you're going to want to take that. Bestow Faith if you're tank healing, which the default for Holy Paladin is just assume you're tank healing and that you're not really focusing too much on raid. Rule of Law, probably your default one as well. If it's a really movement heavy fight, you could go Cavalier, but I would just say stay Rule of Law. I'll show it to you in use here. It's really good, really good. This row doesn't really matter. In Mythic Plus, you're not really going to be CCing much. So this one, it's either Fist of Justice or Blinding Light. I really like Blinding Light because you can interrupt casts, and there's actually quite a bit of casts in here in this dungeon. And you know, if everyone's taking damage and it's like, oh crap, everyone's taking a lot of damage, help, this can actually be a better tool to use than a heal, because it's going to stop all the casting. So there's no more like, you know, casters casting, healers, you know, like the healers are healing. So like Blinding Light, it sounds kind of counterintuitive, but I mean, it makes sense that this can be better to use than actual heal. Like I said, this one's pretty situational. They're all pretty good. So what do I have here? I have a Death Knight tank, which is not ideal. Death Knight tanks are not the best, but that's fine. So here I'm just going to DPS. I'm just going to be DPS in the counter because I know that those are a problem. So I'm actually gonna be using my Holy Shocks here offensively. I'm gonna dispel that real quick because that's a nasty debuff. So we seem to have quite a bit of damage. Our Ret Paladin is just really going big dick here, which is what I like to see. I'm gonna dispel this off of myself. But like I said, you know, when damage is low, just DPS. Just DPS. Why not? I'm gonna Arcane Torrent here, get these stacked in. Except this BM Hunter's got aggro and shiz. So, oh, Necrotic. Let me dispel this. Like I said, just DPS. I'm gonna watch these counselors because they heal. So I'm gonna watch and make sure that they don't get any heals off. This tank has a lot of necrotic stacks, so I'm actually not even healing him. He has 93% absorb on my heals, so I'm just not healing. So I'll just heal the Ret Paladin instead, and wait for the debuff to go off. Okay, it's off. Let me top him before we go in. I'm gonna DPS here until damage starts happening. So I'm gonna pick this counselor. I'm actually gonna Holy Shock offensively here. There's some raid damage, so I'm gonna Light of Dawn, dispel the double stack on this guy, throw a heal, but I'm still DPSing. I got Consecration. I'm Crusader striking, judging, you know, blah blah blah. Let me look over here. Okay, that ad got gripped in. Okay, this is actually a really bad situation that we're in. The tank has really high stacks of necrotic, basically unhealable at this point, and they're starting to heal, so I'm gonna stun that. This guy's actually just dead. This is actually just really bad. So this is not good. DKs are really bad at necrotic because their whole shtick is that they heal themselves, and if they can't heal themselves, then they're freaking garbage. So this is going really well so far. But, you know, I guess this is just kind of showing you, like, real, like, you know, I don't want to show you a perfect run because it's kind of lame. So, there was quite a bit of raid damage there, so I popped my Tyrer's Deliverance. Again, I don't know how to say this, I'm sorry, but I popped my Deliverance there just to top people off. Making sure everyone's topped up going into this fight. Since I am the DPS build, I tried my best, and I did. I saved my healing cooldown, so I saved Avenging Wrath, Holy Avenger, and such for the DPS. So we're going to come in, so I'm going to pop my cooldowns, and it's basically just a pattern of Holy Shock, Crusader Strike, 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 Holy Shock, Crusader Strike. And as you can see, no one's really taking any damage. I'm going to run a little bit away from this because this can be kind of annoying. But as you can see right here, I'm doing like 300k DPS, which is, you know, definitely really good for a healer. But I'm just kind of putting those away because it's kind of annoying for melee to deal with. So they'll do more DPS than me. So we phased them really quick. We did less there. I should have Devotion Orb there, but we killed it so fast that none of the spirits got to him, and so he didn't have any stacks, and I knew no one was going to get one shot, so I just held it. It doesn't really matter. So I'm just topping people up while running. If you're on the move, you know, you're just going to want to spam Light of the Martyr and Light of Dawns. Make sure you're facing them, so get good with your with holding down your right mouse button and moving around and, you know, aiming it. Holy Paladin doesn't have the best heals on the move, but it's alright. It's not the worst. It's definitely doable. Don't forget you have your Divine Steed. It's basically your only movement ability, so use it wisely, but I know we're not going to really, there's not too much movement, so I just used it to kind of get ahead. I don't need to drink, so I don't need to do that. Again, I'm just going to DPS, you know? There's no damage, so why just sit there and do nothing? Why be a worthless healer? So I'm going to DPS. I'm going to throw out a Consecration. I'm going to, you know, Crusader Strike something. I'm going to Holy Shock this. I'm going to Judge this. Let me dispel this. Oh, this guy's actually probably dead. This guy stood in the debuff, so I'm spamming my Dispel on this guy because he has 10 stacks of that debuff, which hurts. I'm hoping to not get a stack as well. Okay. So I'm basically just raid healing here, and you know, this is all sustainable damage, so I'm just going to switch to DPSing. I'm going to Crusader Strike, Crusader Strike. Okay, I'm going to heal this guy, he's taking a little bit of damage. Dispel him. Top everyone up. Most Infusion of Light procs, you know, when you get a Holy Shot crit, you're probably just going to want to use it on Holy Light. there's not really too much. I mean, it's situational, but I guess as a general, I'd just say to Holy Light as opposed to. Okay, so we pulled all of this. So this is going to be a little bit juicy, mostly because this is necrotic. So this tank is going to become unhealable. So I popped basically my healing cooldowns. I still have Aura Master here, but at this point I'm kind of more focused on healing. It's kind of a big-ish pull, but I'm switching to DPS a little bit here because the tank is going to become unhealable. He's at 20 stacks right now, which is relatively high. I'm going to use my other cooldown. I'm still saving Aura Mastery here. I still have it. Aura Mastery, I really like sitting on it. I really like kind of saving it for oh crap situations. I just threw a Hodge on that guy just to stop his cast. So here, this guy still has a bunch of stacks, so I'm not going to bother healing him because he doesn't get healed. I'm just going to watch his debuff for it to go away, and then I'm going to insta-top him. Okay, it's gone. Let me heal him up. Okay, he's just going to insta-pull, which is fine. So it's pretty good pace of the group. Again, here, I'm just going to DPS, you know? I mean, everyone's fine. Part of being a good healer is knowing when damage is fatal and when it's not. So right now, I mean, damage is fine, you know? No one's going to die. So I'm going to DPS a little bit. I'm going to Consecration, you know, there's some nice damage. Like right here, I'm doing 230k right now, DPS, just as a healer, because I'm throwing out one button. Look at this, Consecration, boom. I do all that damage just because it's one global, and like someone's not gonna die in that one global. So just be helpful, you know, make the group kill faster. I'm actually hoping we're gonna pull all of this. The dog hurts, but it's fine. Okay, so we did. Okay, so someone interrupted that. I was going to Arcane Torrent it, but I don't have to. So I'm gonna focus a little bit more on healing because this is, especially with the dog here, this can be healing intensive. But as you can see, I just dropped a Consecrate to help out the damage, and as you can see, I'm doing 250k, and I'm not, you know, I'm a healer, and I'm doing that just damage passively. Like, it's so good. So here we're gonna LOS. This guy's okay. His necrotic stacks fell off. Again, part of being a good healer is knowing the dungeon, knowing what mobs do, knowing how much damage they roughly do, and knowing the affixes. So I'm playing a lot about, you know, like necrotic. I know that the tank is going to be unhealable when he has really high stacks, so I want to heal him at the beginning. Then when he gets high stacks, I want to focus more on damage because he's not healable. So I better kill the mob before it kills him, you know, kind of a thing. So this is it's all pretty typical, just trying to keep Consecrate down. I didn't do too good there. I did pretty low damage there, but so here I'm just gonna go full damage, you know. Crusader strikes, judgments. I'll throw like a lot of Dawn because it's instant cast, but that's about it. Still keep DPSing. Okay, this guy's taking quite a bit of damage. Just toss him a flash and a Light of the Martyr. Keep DPSing. I'm gonna Holy Shock offensively here. I mean, a lot of people would just sit here and they would Holy Shock defensively. They'd use it as a heal, but I'm using it as offensive. So I did 5 million damage that pull. I did 2 million less than the tank. You know. Part of having good fast runs is, you know, helping out as a healer. Don't be that healer that just sits there and watches Netflix while you're healing. That's so stupid. Please don't be that person. So I'm gonna pop my cooldowns. I'm gonna come in, see how much DPS I can do here. I'm not popping Old War just because it's only a 7 and Old War is expensive. So whatever. This fight can actually get pretty healing intensive, but again, like I said, it's not healing intensive right off the bat. It's when this debuff is, you know, out of control and when it's ticking for a long time. So so here I'm gonna do some little heals, but I'm just gonna mostly focus on DPS. Again, I'm Holy Shock defensively there. I'm gonna use my Deliverance here, and I'm just gonna top people really quick. I am gonna Holy Shock defensively here, but again, I'm just gonna go right back into damage, spamming Crusader Strike, Holy Shock. Just top people up while we're running there. Again, on the run, you just want to spam Light of the Martyr and Light of Dawns. Everyone's topped up. Let me pop this. Oh gosh. Oh boy. Okay, I'm gonna bubble this. It's not worth risking. I easily could have died there, but I'm not gonna risk it. I'm not gonna